Meanwhile, with a coalition resolutely opposed to freezing settlement building or countenancing the establishment of a Palestinian state, any new peace initiative is a non-starter.
To countenance means to support something, or to agree with something, or approve of something. And it's a word that most people don't even understand. They may have a vague idea of what it means. So if you use the word, it's a way of saying something and not being very well understood. So to countenance the establishment of a Palestinian state would mean to approve of a Palestinian state. Or similarly, for the parents to countenance their child's marriage prospects would mean that they approve of the person that the child is going to marry. So it's kind of a fairly high-end word, what I would call a $10 word, which people would not ordinarily use in everyday conversation. But if there were some special thing, some diplomatic thing, then they might use the word in that context. There's been a lot of talk about sending American troops back to the Middle East, but a lot of people don't think the American people would countenance that. So the talk seems to be more based around how to have an effect without actually having to get the army involved. A lot of people have felt that Donald Trump would not be very successful because of a lot of the things that he's said. They didn't think that the American people would countenance his more radical views. But it turns out that he's successful for some unexplained reason.
Yeah, I subscribe to that as well. The class clown was sort of an idiot. Like He was the court jester.
A court jester is a person, usually a male, who was in the court in feudal times, medieval times. And the job of the court jester was to entertain the court and act as the fool. And acting as the fool meant that they were expected to say things that other people could not say, or else risk insulting the king or insulting the other nobles as well. So the court jester actually performed a vital function because the king would oftentimes not hear opinions that were counter to what he believed in. But the court jester was given freedom to say whatever he wanted to say. Similarly, the court jester had the freedom to insult other members of the court too, which was very important because the king needed to be able to test out the other people in the court to see if they were loyal to him. So by having the court jester provoke these other people, the king got to observe how they behaved and to gauge their loyalty. Nowadays, they don't really have court jesters, though some comedians claim to fill that role. Glenn Beck is one example. Also, Jon Stewart claims to be the court jester as well. But in any case, the verb jest is still used, which means to say something usually mildly insulting, but supposedly in fun. So if the other person gets angry or upset, you might say, I was just jesting. I didn't mean it seriously. I told my girlfriend that she looked fat today, and she got very, very angry. And I told her I was just jesting, but she didn't think it was very funny at all. In King Lear, the court jester performs a very vital function because the king made a very foolish move by dividing his empire in two, which ended up causing him a lot of problems. The court jester tried to warn him about that, but King Lear didn't listen, and as a result, his life ended in tragedy. In almost every school, there are one or two people that function as the class clowns in order to get attention. And this is very similar to the idea of the court jester. Similarly, similarly, in a deck of playing cards, one of the cards is called the Joker. And the Joker is the same thing as the court jester.
That's all for today. Tom Taylor is an ESL tutor. He teaches English in the United States and outside, all over the world using Skype. He can be reached at his website, which is
ESL-fullsteamahead.com.
Click on this link and check out his website and email with questions. Thank you, Tom, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.